ladies.
Good evening.
Happy to be with y'all and happy to be with you watching as well. Welcome to another episode of Living in Tampa Live. Excited to be with y'all tonight. We've got some hot topics. We're going to be talking about strawberries. I mean, it's Florida, so why wouldn't we? Definitely need to do that. We're going to be talking about the Tampa Airport. They've made a lot of noise this past week.
Yeah, yep.
So we'll get into that, but we're also going to be covering some really good opportunities here in Tampa Bay regarding home buying. I've got some info that I'd like to share with you guys, and of course these lovely ladies here today as well. We're going to get a little bit deep in the numbers. I'm going to do my best to stay out of the weeds. All right. I've got some slides to keep me on track. Some really good data that I want to share with our clients, because y'all, if you've been following this journey and you come here, we try to share the objective truth, right? About what's happening in and around the area. It's not perfect. Florida's not perfect. Tampa's not perfect. We all know that. But our role here is to really bring you great opportunities when we see them. And I got to tell you, all the indicators point to yes. Y'all, ladies, Madison, you're probably not old enough to remember this. And I know Stacy's not old enough to remember this, but I am old enough to remember this. Like how I did that, my wife taught me well. You remember those magic 8 balls where you used to shake them and you'd ask it a little, something, and it would say like, odds are not good, or, it'd pop up and say, it looks promising. Well, we're on to that. So I want to talk about that, because if you saw the thumbnail tonight, there is a 6.5 month opportunity right now that we need to be discussing. So I want to get into that. We're going to get into that early tonight, y'all. Also, if you're watching this later, we're going to drop timestamps in here. I will also put all the links to the resources. I'm not just going to throw numbers at you. I always want to support it with where it came from, right? That way you can wrap your mind around it. But if this is your first time meeting us, I am joined by Miss Madison Cruz in St. Petersburg. Good evening, Madison.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
I got Miss Stacy Amon, who is still recovering from her cold, for goodness sake, up in Pasco County. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening, everyone.
You do sound much better this week.
Yeah, I do sound better. Yeah,
You sound much better.
Yeah.
And my name's Juan Alcala. We are the True Living Group. We help people buy, sell, relocate, and invest all over the greater Tampa Bay area here. And want to bring some pretty interesting things up, because we've been seeing a lot of opportunity, right, ladies?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, we want to invite you to the conversation here. We try to make this interactive. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I try to get as prepared as possible for these, but feel free. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching this later and you have questions, I will try to respond to all the legitimate questions as well. But we really got some interesting things that I want to share with everybody tonight, starting with this. I want to get right into this, y'all. And I want to show you something. Please bear with me. I know I could have circled all this and made it super. I tried my best to make it simple. And I think these sources are wonderful. So what I want to start out with here is this came from an article. This chart specifically came from an article inside of Redfin. And that article was pointing to the fact that home buyers have one of the best opportunities. As a matter of fact, they're getting the biggest discounts they have in the last 13 years of home buying. And if you're in the market to purchase, that's pretty significant. Right now, I'm going to pull up the actual article here in a second so you can see it. But as you can see, I love this chart. This is highlighted. This came from our partners at Keeping Current Matters, but they've highlighted Tampa specifically. They were in town. We were having a discussion about this. And as you can see, we are one of the hottest markets for opportunity. And now, if you've been watching YouTube or listening to the tea leaves, people have been probably running around telling you that the market is crashing, the sky is falling, and this area is on fire. And I'm here to be the objective voice of reason tonight and share with you some information that may change your opinion on that. I always ask those guys to bring data, because we're still waiting on those major crashes that have yet to come. But what this chart does say, and is true, is the fact that there is a major buying opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Now, I'm not saying you should. I want to bring the objective truth to this matter, but I want to show you some interesting things. Now, ladies, we can see this next slide now. This is home prices in the Q3 of 2025. This is the ending Q3 of 2025. 2020 Q4 was not out yet when this chart was built, but I'm going to show you some of that information here shortly. And what you're looking at here is the national appreciation of home prices, right? You're also looking at the Florida's appreciation, which is the green one, and you're looking at St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Largo, which is essentially the Tampa Bay area, right, ladies?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this comes from the FHFA, so this is the government data, all right? And what you're looking at here is growth over the last 5 years and 30 years specifically. So that's the numbers you can see there, okay? The first quarter, a year ago, 5 years ago, and appreciation over the last 30 years. And as you can see, Tampa Bay has grown 527% over the last 30-year period, which is pretty significant when you think about it over time. Over the last 5 years, our appreciation has been 65%. Now, why is that important? Why is that important? Because when you start to hear things like people jumping off of cliffs because the market is down in 6% year over year, or 6% off its peak, as a matter of fact, is really what it boils down to. Anyone who gained 65% on average is usually not going to be upset about taking a 5% haircut on the back end. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to talk about history, right? There are always going to be ebbs and flows in any market, and that is absolutely fair. And here's the other thing that no one wants to tell you. You can't time those things. Now, we can look at trends and have an understanding about what things make sense for you. Again, not everybody's situation is the same. And I can't stand when people are like, now is the best time. Well, of course, it could be the best time for you. And that is true. But it's not always the best time for you. Sometimes it's time to rent. Right? So like there are differences in this. You have to look at your specific situation. But I'm bringing this up because I continue to hear people say uninformed things. Ooh, I caught myself there. I was doing really. The filter was on. Uninformed things to say like the market's crashing. There are markets that are down significantly. There are specific zip codes in Tampa that are down significantly, which would, you're talking about 10%. A crash is deemed at like 20%. Okay, now that's a wild number. And there are specific markets, but there are also markets that have had that happen and the next month they were up 12%. So you have to look at these things objectively. You're looking for trends. As a home buyer or a home seller, I'm looking for trends. Okay, and prices are just one component of this. Is this fair, ladies? Because prices are, again, a home is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And I know that people always say, no, a home is worth what a bank will lend. Two things can be true at the same time. And that conversation is that, okay? If you're using a mortgage and you're putting the minimum down payment, then you are going to be strapped to whatever the bank says that home is worth. That's an objective truth. Ladies, if you're paying for cash, do you have to abide by those same rules?
No.
Nope.
Right? Most home buyers who purchase in cash, do they end up getting an appraisal on a house?
No.
No.
Very rare.
Mhm.
Very rarely. So again, a home is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. We've also had scenarios where someone was willing to guarantee any appraisal shortfall, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a home is worth what you're willing to pay for. So I always want to share that with everybody. Now, I want to get into, we can get deep in the weeds with this, but starting with tonight, again, I want to go.
Uh-oh. He wants to go back and he went back.
He did that last week too, didn't he?
He did. He probably accidentally pressed the wrong button.
Kick myself right out of the studio.
There he is. He's back.
Yep.
It was too good not to share, apparently. All right. So I want to get into the actual articles behind what we're talking about so you guys can kind of see this. And I'm gonna share with y'all. So forgive me for getting kicked out of here. This is the actual article from Redfin. You can see the date here. It was published on February 1st of 2026. So this is new data. All right, and this is exactly where that chart that you saw came from. So I want to share that with you. And it's talking about how home buyers are in the best position they've been in 13 years. At least they're scoring the biggest discounts. I mean, positions in a correct way to say that. But the typical home buyer who scored a home below asking. Now, this is the key thing. Are there still homes selling above asking price?
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
My last listing just sold above asking price. Are there homes selling at listing price, at asking price?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But there are a lot of people taking haircuts. And we're going to get into those numbers too, because that is true also. And I want to share that with you. But for the home that sold under asking price, this is the United States, not just Tampa. So this is why I want to put this in perspective. In the US, okay, the average home buyer who got a home below the asking price was almost at an 8% discount on average across the country. Okay, so we're not unique snowflakes here in Tampa Bay. that's the first thing I want to, and your situation might be entirely different. But the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to point out the trend line on this. If you look back historically, let's go back to 2019, because most people say that was a normal market, whatever that means to you. And as a real estate professional, that was a stable market. You can see it right there. 2015, 17, prices, discounts were declining. But I want to share this with everybody objectively, because sometimes I don't think I look at things necessarily. You hear these numbers like 7.9%. Wow, that sounds crazy. But if you look back to 2019, it's only a 1.2% difference on average. Okay, so I know that's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money now, because if you look at the average price home that we sell in Tampa Bay, it's right around $550,000, right? Now, at a 1.2% difference between 2019 and today, that would essentially be about a $7,000 difference in purchase price. That's a lot, right? But also, if we go back, the other thing is, if you go back to 2019, home prices, Tampa Bay home prices were averaging $330,000. So if you take that same 1.2% difference and apply it to there, it's only $4,000. So our delta is approximately $3,000 difference. I know I got weird on the math there, but I'm trying to help people understand that even though this is a larger number, there's no doubt about it in terms of what it is. The discounts aren't really that different. They scaled. You're getting more of a discount today than you were when the homes were worth $330,000. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now I wanted to get in that. So this is where the data was coming from. All right. Now I want to get down to, there was a thing in here where I got in here specific. Okay. Here it is. It starts talking about the average discounts of homes sold below the original list price. So again, going back to whatever they asked for to begin with versus what it's at now. The average discount of a home sold below the original list price in 2024, so going back a full year, is 7.5. That increased to 7.9%. The average discount on all homes sold, all of them, right, went from 2.9 to 3.8, almost a full percentage point improvement. And the share of homes that sold below the original list price grew from 57.5 to 62.2. That's not that big of a jump, actually. It's a big number, but it's not that far off from what it normally is. And then the homes that sold above original price. This is what we're talking about. Still, almost 25% of the homes in America are selling above the original list price. That is happening. Okay. All right. So I wanted to get into that, and then it gets into the specific areas. Okay. So this is a heat map, if you will, of where the best buying opportunities in the country are. Okay. West Palm Beach is in at almost 11%, 10.9%. I know this thing's small, and I'm trying to help everybody, but that is the hottest point on this entire map. And if you go back to that green chart I started with, West Palm was at the very beginning of it. 10.9% is the average discount that is selling below. Okay, so remember that. There's still homes selling above, but the average home that's selling below asking in West Palm is getting about an 11% discount. And as you can see, South Florida is the hottest area on this market. Miami's 9.8%, Fort Lauderdale's 10.3%, and then we're on this heat map over in Tampa at 9.6%. Share of homes that sold below the original list price are up to 77.6%. So almost 80% of every home that is listed in Tampa Bay is selling below its original asking price. Okay. So that's the math. And then you can't see it under here. Warren, Michigan is like on the heat chart too. Pittsburgh also is on this chart. In the Northeast, you've got Philadelphia, and then some areas in Texas. This is going to be Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. Those areas in here. I'm sorry, San Antonio and Austin. Dallas is doing really well. So I want to misguide on that. But I thought this was a great chart to show. And again, I'm going to share these links in the resources after we wrap up on this YouTube video, so everybody will have access if you want to get in here. This is public information. You can find this on Redfin. But in here, it gets into the metros and the average discounts below that. So I thought that this was a really good place to start on this. Now, I don't want to go super tangent on this. I want to get into some questions here. If you guys have them, feel free to bring those up. And let me say hello to everyone as well. I know we just went right into it tonight. First of all, it is Mr. Kevin's birthday, y'all.
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Happy birthday, Kevin. You the man, sir. We got Nick out in Colorado. He says, greetings. Good evening, sir. We got Miss Carol, of course. I love it. She's got the strawberry. She's ready to go. Digging it. Checking out some apartments, Nick says. I love that. Gusto says it might be a good time to start looking in Pinellas County. Yeah, we're going to get into that specifically for sure. I am back, Carol. Thank you for noticing that I dropped off the planet. Love it. We're live. That's just part of the deal, man. Paul says 35% price cuts from current levels. Let's go. That will wake up the market. Well, yeah, that would wake up the market. That would also be horrific for everyone involved. If we get to that point, the world is upside down, which, as we all know, that's possible right now because crazy stuff is happening. But we are not in control of that. So yeah, absolutely. So Nick says, so a lot of homes are selling for less. The answer to that is yes. This is all about pricing and positioning, y'all. This is what this boils down to. We got a happy birthday to Kevin, and then Carol says happy birthday as well. I love it. I'm sorry, Keith, my man. Okay, cool. So getting back to some of these numbers over here. Again, my goal here tonight is not to overwhelm. It's just to help people understand. Now, here's the reality of it. In Tampa Bay right now, we are sitting on 6.5 months of inventory. Okay, what does that mean? You know, we use fancy terms in real estate, and it ain't that big of a deal. But 6.5 months of inventory. What that really means is if no one else listed their home, not a single seller said, I'm not selling my house. If no one else listed their home for the next 6.5 months, it would take that entire time to sell through the current inventory. And that is as of today's rates. Okay, so I'm sharing this with y'all. That's what that number means. It's a fancy term, doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, here's where we're getting into. Inventories are recovering. We're sharing that, right? Inventories across the country are starting to grow and get back to a what we would call a normalized level. And I want to share a specific chart with y'all. Okay. All right. Now, again, I want to get to reality, not hyperbolic nonsense that everybody loves to share. Okay. I want you to look back all the way to 2017. That was a very stable market. That's 17 and 19 is what we consider a normal market. Right. Inventory levels in the United States with about 30 million less people in it. Everybody always loves to leave those things out, right? 30 million less human beings in this country. We're sitting at around 1.15 million. 2018, just over a million. 2019, 1.1 million. And then you can see the inventory starts to drop off in 2020 for obvious reasons, right? COVID. We are sitting at 2026. This number was as of January. We came in at 912,000. Okay. We're less than 1 million homes on the market in total with 30 million more people in this country. Now, I'm not saying that houses are affordable. There's all kinds of other challenges, but I want everybody to kind of just wrap their mind around the objective truth, not what people are saying or headlines are saying. Now, this is a national number. This is not a Tampa number specifically. I just shared with you ours. 6.5 months of inventory. What that means is the buyers now have the upper hand. Okay, technically we're just over a balanced market, but we all know the truth. 80% of home buyers are getting a discount. That's a buyer's market in anybody's world, right? In specific neighborhoods, that's not true. Right? So we'll have clients walk in here with like, well, I heard Tampa's down, 20%. Well, first of all, that's not true. But let's go to the 7.8% that it said that is true. right? Or the 10%, or whatever the number was on there, right? Is that going to be true in every single neighborhood? No. The most desirable neighborhoods, do you think that they're dealing with that same situation? Absolutely not. All right. They could be the ones selling above asking price. So this is where you have to look at your specific situation. And I wanted to share this because this is the reality of what's happening in the marketplace. Now, okay, Juan. So inventory's up, right? We know that. We've got 6.5 months of inventory. Sellers are discounting and selling, below asking price. Almost 78% of them are selling below the original asking price. And here's the thing that I want everybody to take note of. The average home in Tampa Bay is now sitting on the market for 77 days. 77 days. Now, objectively, what does that mean? People that's just a number. Okay. At the peak of COVID, you could list a home and have it sold by noon. Now, that wasn't a normal market. Going into COVID, 2019, the median home in Pinellas County, where I live, was sitting on the market for approximately 47 days. That was considered a normal market. Okay. We're up to 77 days. In some markets, it's over 100. Tampa, downtown Tampa, 176 days.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A half a year? Wow. That's a long time, right? But there are other markets where they're only on the market for 14 days. Okay. Inside of Tampa proper, right? So you have to think through this objectively. Right? Now, I want to talk about this. Okay. We're here, we're looking at maybe scary numbers or, okay, well, maybe there is opportunity here, Juan, but where's the bottom? If I buy now, is it going to continue to fall? Great question. Guess who can't tell you the answer to that? A single human being on this planet. All right. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. Now, we can all look at numbers and make qualified and competent decisions based upon quality information. And that's what we're trying to do tonight. Okay. So when you look at this, what is driving and why am I in here telling you it's probably an opportunity right now? I'm not worried about where the number is. Yes. Do I think that there's still going to be softness in our market? But absolutely. I think that this year numbers are going to be slightly down or flat. It's going to depend on your zip code. Some of them will be down even big, right? Our secondary markets, Plant City, stuff that's closer to Sarasota, those markets are definitely a lot softer than our hot markets like Parish, Lakewood Ranch, Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, West Chase, St. Pete. St. Pete's on fire. We just showed you numbers last week where St. Pete is one of the hottest markets in the United States. Don't take that from me. That was right on Redfin. Same charts we're using now, right? But here's what I want to get into. Why? Why do I believe as a professional, as someone who lives here, that we're in an opportunity right now? Well, here's why. Okay. Tampa is ranked as number 5 of corporate relocations. Okay. Corporate relocations. What does that mean, y'all? Ladies, what does that mean to us? What are they bringing?
Jobs.
They're bringing jobs. Number 5 on the list nationally, which means businesses are investing in Tampa. They are long on the area. So that's the first thing. Our local wage growth, and again, I'm going to show you my actual source here, but I just wanted to put this on a slide so it was easy for everybody to see. Our local wage growth is up 5.1%, which is outpacing the national average at 3.8%. So people's money is going farther here. And they're getting more opportunity here, period. And then you look at things like Moffitt, the gas works. Like, y'all, we've shared so many hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of infrastructure being invested in terms of growth, but not just buildings. We're talking about life sciences. Moffitt, right? Our Cancer Institute Center, which is huge. This is growth, right? Like real meaningful growth that's taking place in the area. So this is very important to look at, right? So there's a economic report that gets done every single year. And on that, Florida's economic growth has outpaced the national average by 2.3% over the last 4 years and is expected to exceed the national growth again in 2026. Florida's unemployment rate has remained below the national rate since September of 2020. And that's not a shock, y'all. People are defecting from New York. They're defecting from California, bringing jobs here. And that is driving growth for the whole state, not just for Tampa. All right. So this is another thing that I wanted to make sure that we're looking at objectively. Okay. So when we talk about that, we talked about the Tampa, this is the Business Observer, right? Talking about Tampa ranking number 5 in terms of corporate relocations, right? And that was the first time we've ever ranked that high, which is great. The major points, the mayor points to major redevelopment projects, just like we were talking about, throughout the city. They're connecting communities with its urban core, a significant investment into public spaces, amenities, and an influx of small and large businesses as a few of the reasons why Tampa stands as part of a desirable place to live and work. Okay, so again, I know that we're a little bit in the weeds here tonight, but I think this is very important when we're talking about the overall health of what's going on in our area and our community and what the future looks like here in Tampa, because the reality is this is an opportunity in my eyes. I'm long in the area. I realize that people will look at me and say, well, of course you are, you live there. I made the move here on purpose because these are the same trends that I was seeing in 2018 when we decided to move here, right? Tampa was getting younger. Businesses choosing Tampa. Hi, puppies. Those are Stacy's babies. Businesses were choosing to move here. Tampa was getting younger. The region was getting younger, and people wanted to. Obviously, the lifestyle's incredible, right? So these are all things that added up to opportunity in our mind. All right. So, what is your strategic play for you? Okay, we've got more topics to get into tonight, but like, what's the strategic play? All right, and this is like I call it the buyer's playbook here. Okay, we have a 77 days on market average. And again, you can get into very specific areas on this. You know, if a property's been on the market for more than 77 days, the market has spoke. It depends on what neighborhood you're on, y'all. You really need to dig into specifics with the person you're working with. This is what I always share with people. Okay, because if you're not doing that, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Okay, so 77 days. CDD fees, HOA fees, those things are all important depending on what communities you're looking at. If you're looking at established neighborhoods in like South Tampa, this is not going to be a thing for you. But if you're moving to newer developments, make sure you're checking on things like, buyer incentives. You know, what we're seeing right now is that homeowners are willing to pay our compensation to represent you as clients. I mean, we just had a situation where a seller was adamant about they weren't going to give up on price or compensation to us. Madison, were you able to pull through that?
I was.
Why? Because the house has been on the market and she knew what she had.
Yeah.
She had a qualified buyer who was ready to execute, right?
Yeah.
Continually, these ladies are coming back to me with, we saved our client $20,000, $30,000, whatever it was, they were negotiating through that. We got lower interest rates, whatever's going on there. But the point we're bringing to you is make sure that you're looking into these things. These opportunities exist, but they exist in specific pockets. Generally speaking, 80% of them. Okay. If you're going to go into the best neighborhoods, if you're going to go in a High Park Village and think that you're going to negotiate like it's 2008, you have lost your mind.
Yeah.
Okay? That doesn't exist. But if you're going to go on the coast onto a house that has been damaged by floodwaters because of the hurricane, yeah, there's real opportunity to negotiate through that. But I'm here to tell you, y'all, those houses, I drive that coast every day. I live right next to the Gulf. Okay, I drive it every day. You know what they're doing with the houses that they're buying for land value? Ladies, can you help them understand what's going up into those spots? Are they putting the 800 square foot cracker cottage that was there for the last 60 years up again?
No, they're building multi-million homes on stilts.
Correct. No, now it's a $3 to $5 or $8 million property that's going up. So this is what is happening here. Okay, this is what's happening in the area. And again, I'm sharing this with everybody because I want you to think through these things objectively. Okay, what is happening in a marketplace, right? What is happening around us? And is there a good buying opportunity? All indicators point to yes. If we shake that magic 8 ball again, going back to my youth of 1983, right? Shake my, All indicators point to yes. That is what's happening here. Again, I'm sharing. You do what you will with this information. Okay, you do what you will with it. I think that's valuable info to share. Okay, ladies, I know we got way more on the agenda tonight. I just talked a whole bunch. I think I did fairly good for keeping it halfway sane.
No, it was good.
Jake says, Juan, Stacy Madison, as a buyer, this is music to my ears. Well, that's good news, right? Again, it is going to be about your specific situation, right, ladies?
Yeah,
for
sure.
I'm always amazed. People will anchor their mind to specific things. Some people want to beat people on price for whatever reason. It's just a victory they have to have, right? When it doesn't necessarily align with what they're trying to accomplish, right? Like, we've had clients who contacted us 3.5 years ago, right? 3.5, 4 years ago, when price appreciation was only up 5 or 10% at that point. And they were like, prices are going to go down 65% later, right? I'll give you back a full 10%. You still missed 30 or 40% of growth during that time period. And it's not going back there. And if it does, that means everyone watching this and around you, 1 out of those 4 people is jobless, because that's the only way we get back there. That's not a good situation for anybody. So just sharing again, what's the objective truth? What are we looking at together? Okay. All right. John says, hello. Sorry I'm late. Hello from Tampa again. Hello. It was beautiful today. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. Florida's back, baby. That's all I got to say.
Finally, it's such a rough winter.
Oh, we pulled up the weather and it was like 80 every day for the next 10. Oh, baby, we are back. So excited for that. Yes, we are back. I like it. Flew back to Seattle today, John. 50 and gray. Well, you know the deal. But John's a man. We appreciate him. Nick says, agent in Columbus, Ohio. What's up, everybody from C-Bus?
Hi, Nick. I'm actually from Columbus, Ohio as well. So I would like to know exactly where you're from, because I grew up in the Hamilton Township area.
And Nick, being a Michigan fan, there's a saying that we have for everybody from Columbus. Not everyone can be saved. Right, Madison?
No.
Yeah. Well, neither one of us can talk any smack because the Queen has the college football playoff championship trophy.
Yeah.
In the backyard up there, right?
Absolutely smoked us this year.
Dude, shout out to the Hoosiers. I'm nervous. Like, I genuinely think that was a well-coached team, and I think there's more of that coming down the pipe. So shout out to the Big Ten, though.
Yeah, right? I know, right?
Big Ten. Love it. All right. Keith says, what's the recommended credit score? Well, as high as you can get, Keith. That's what all the banks do, right?
The higher the better.
Yeah. The banks, you can get a loan with like, I mean, I won't say we're back to like 2002 kind of situation, but like, people will loan you money if you want to pay a super high interest rate. But if you want a great interest rate, you need to be 740 or above, essentially 740, 760, somewhere in that range. That will get you the best.
Yeah.
But you can get a mortgage with a 580 credit score. I'm not suggesting anyone do that, by the way. Just letting you know, there are people that will loan you money. All right. Nick says Dublin.
Okay. It's about 35, maybe 40 minutes for me.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Love it. Keith says, Nick, he's over in Cleveland. Love that. All right, ladies, I know we got some fun stuff. All right. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Let me know if you want more information like that. Like I said, I tried not to just give you straight numbers and give you some charts to look at, because I think that's helpful. But I know we got some cool stuff happening around. And let's start with here's what I want to talk about. We just talk about numbers. Let's talk about some food. Because who doesn't like talking about food? So Stacy, what am I looking at here? What's going on?
Oh, it is strawberry season here in Florida. So, of course, there is the Florida Strawberry Festival going on right now until March 8th. And you got to go check it out. If you're in town, get some strawberry shortcake. It's the best. Have you guys been to the Strawberry Festival before?
I have not. Kate has.
Yeah, you got to go just for the strawberries. I mean, there's more to do than just to eat strawberries, but they always have entertainment throughout the day. They have concerts in the evening. Have a lot of good country stars that come play.
The Oak Ridge Boys. Oh yeah. Alabama. Jody Messina. Kate, when she went, she saw Lauren Daigle.
Oh yeah, that was last year, right?
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah. I know Forrest Frank was playing this year, and
That's
my
true.
husband and we tried to get tickets, and we unfortunately didn't. That was
no soup for you. Riley Green.
Yeah. Fun times. And of course, they have all the fun carnival rides as well.
Okay.
And all the delicious fair foods.
All the funnel cakes.
Yeah.
Shout out to funnel cakes and elephant ears, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
$15 to get in. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's only $15 to get in. There's tons of places to park around there. I think when we went last year, it was $10 to park. We did walk a little ways, but it's Florida. It's nice out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So definitely something fun to do, to take your family to. Because it's strawberry season in Florida, I know my kids used to love to go to the farms and pick strawberries, to the strawberry fields. There's several farmers in the area that will host certain times during the week or on the weekend where you can come and pick your own strawberries. And they also set up for strawberry shortcake and have all the good fun stuff there as well. But there's two farms. There's one in Lutz called Wreck Farms. That's the one Juan's showing now.
Strawberries are so good. They're going to be so sweet here in a month. They're going to be amazing.
You don't even have to pick. You can drive up and just
smell
pick a whole flat of strawberries. Like, you don't have to pick them, but kids like to do it.
There's something to be said for, it's like sweet corn was up north, right? Like sweet corn is not the same here as it was up north. You go to Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, like the sweet corn in the summer is unbelievable. Down here, it's like, it's just not the same. But strawberries in Florida, oh my God, they're so good. You walk into Publix and you, like in May, you can just smell it. And you're like, this is, it's so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my inner fat kid, y'all. I can't help myself.
I know. You don't get Juan talking about food. We may be here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But there's just a lot of like farmers markets and places to go here in Florida to get fresh produce. And I know like Boyette Farms in Wesley Chapel, they are always having fun events on the weekends. And they don't only sell their own produce, but they sell other local farmers' produce there as well. So
love it. John says, last year from Fresh Strawberries, I made strawberry sorbet with my gelato machine, and it was incredible. Shout out to that. Listen, we're going to show up on John's back porch we're going to be on his lanai, and he's going to be like,
I'll say that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Gelato machine.
John says, Jake says, I'll easily trade strawberries for corn. No doubt, dude. I'm telling I get it. Trust me. Same here. But there's something to be said. This nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. The fresh strawberries here are incredible. Love that. And
Jake is a fellow Hoosier. Yeah. He's up there in northern Indiana.
There you go. Well, that is corn country if we've ever heard of it. So like we know the deal. We know the deal. Oh, here's a good question. All right, so we'll get into this. This is a good question. I've given my opinion on this. I think that there's more momentum for this. So Jake says, Juan, I don't think anyone truly believes Florida will eliminate property taxes for homestead. What do you believe is the real best case scenario for property tax reform? So first of all, this is a very good question. I'm going to start with what I know. I don't know everything. Obviously, I'm following this just like, all of us are. Right? We're all paying attention here. Here's what I believe. I believe there will be some form of tax reform. I don't know what that's going to be. The momentum, is we're genuinely gaining momentum to have a vote, right? The House bill passed. So is that the final thing that's going to get us there? No, remember, in the state of Florida, it will have to make it to a constitutional amendment. All right. Which means that we have to vote on it as residents, and we have to approve at least a 60% clip. It's not a 50%, we're good. 60% of the Floridians have to say, I want to remove homestead property tax exemption. And again, how that's put together currently is the school tax portion is going to stay in place. The homestead, the remaining county homestead tax exemption will go away. So essentially about one half. The school portion for me is the largest portion on my tax bill in Pinellas County. It's not even close. I pay out of the almost $8,000 we pay, almost $5,000 of it goes to education. It's a big chunk. It's a big chunk. So good question. Here's what I think. If it makes it to the ballot, I think that it will get the 60%. Now that's a belief. That's not a promise, right? But from what I'm hearing, the excitement around it, the people that need actual relief, and I know that people say, hey, they're going to find all kinds of ways to attack. Yeah, that may be true, but you know what? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, and they're going to have to bring it to the ballot, and people are going to have to vote for those things.
Yep. Right?
Yes, they can implement things like parking taxes and stuff like that, but most of the places we go already have that anyways.
Everywhere.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? So like, I don't get hit with $4,000 or $5,000 in parking taxes every year. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. So like, I'm not worried about that. What do you ladies think? What is your perspective on this?
Honestly, I mean, same, to be honest. Same.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see some relief. I doubt it's going to go away completely, but I think we'll see some type of relief for homestead.
And I mean, for perspective, depending on where you're moving from, our taxes are not bad. All right. We've talked about this many times before. Like, remember, what else are you getting or not getting? I moved from Michigan. Our state income tax was 4.25%. Now, it was a graduated tax rate, just like the federal tax rate is, right? Like, just because I in a specific tax bracket here doesn't mean I pay every dollar goes to that number, right? I pay X amount of dollars for the first 12,000, and then X amount of dollars for that. That's how the percentages work. But it was meaningful savings at my current income level. Okay, that's at 4.25%. If you're moving from states like New York, where you're being taxed 10, 12% if you live in the city, as a matter of fact, or in California, these are extremely good savings when you're making $200,000 or $300,000 plus annually. Y'all, that's real money. Okay, first and foremost. Now, taxes, we talked about this last week. We have friends over in Houston that were talking about paying 3.2 or 3.4% property taxes on the assessed value of their home. That is twice as high as any of our highest areas in Tampa Bay. I pay 1.38%. Okay, as a overall tax rate, right? There's different, you get your county and your city, all that stuff, but my effective tax rate for my homestead on my assessed value is 1.338%. Mm-hmm. That's very fair to me. Where I lived in Michigan, it would have been almost 3%. So I made my money back when we moved. I was like, this is awesome, right? So it depends on where you're moving. If you're in rural Tennessee or rural Mississippi, you're going to be shocked at the taxes you have to pay. All right. But if you're moving from any good sized metropolitan area, I think you're going to find that this is very fair where we're already at. So the fact that I'm talking about going from $8,000 to $4,000 a year to live 7 minutes from the Gulf. Are you kidding me? Florida is awesome. You spin it any way you want. I don't care. I don't even pay $8,000 now, and I still think that's a steal.
Yeah.
Right. My insurance is, what is it, $2,800 a year, and then I take the optional flood now that costs me $3,500 a year. It costs me less, just over $10,000 annually to hold a home that is 7 minutes away from the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico. I'm good. I love it here. I love it here. Right. So anyways, that's tangent. You asked a question. I think it's fair. Stacy's holding her tongue on this. Like, what is your thought, sis? You've been here the longest out of all of us, right? You're 11 years now, correct?
Yes. Yep. 11 years.
What's your perspective?
As far, I think our property taxes were less in Indiana. I mean, that was a jump for us here, but other things were less expensive too. So in some sense, we were just moving money from one bucket to the other. But the plus is I get sunshine.
Lifestyle.
How many days a year?
In spades.
Yeah.
In spades. Absolutely. That
so
is
quality of life was way better.
Amen.
Yeah.
All the things. we came here because we wanted lifestyle. That's what we came here for, and we have been rewarded, right? In terms of what's going on there. So I love that. John says, tomorrow I'm treating a friend to dinner with fresh mushroom and truffle pepperdale. I don't know what that is. Pappardelle. I'm gonna have to figure that out, John. I don't know what that is. That's over my head.
One doesn't know what that is.
No, but I know I'll eat it because I love truffles. You're more than welcome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I love it. Soul Fader says we're gonna rent, and I hope they do eliminate it. It's just not all the cost of infrastructure and the police that desperately needed for you. Yeah, this is where you'll get into the specifics, right? Listen, whenever they want to raise taxes locally, they still have to put it on the ballot, right? So, like, again, here's what I do know about Florida. We won't put up with nonsense, right? So the residents here, if they feel like there's a problem, they're going to address it. Now, again, this comes down to politicians. There's a lot of things that we don't control. Like, I always just try to control the controllables, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm paying taxes. I understand what they're for. I also know that my tax dollars are grossly mismanaged. And anybody who doesn't believe that is true, you're not being objectively honest with yourself. It's just the reality of it, right? Today, I saw that Hillsborough County is trying to expand their seats. I'm like, we're talking about tax reform, and you idiots are talking about adding bodies, right? Sorry, saying it out loud. In what world does that make sense? Don't you think you should wait? I mean, y'all, how does your household work? If you think that someone's about to lose income in your household, are you trying to ratchet up expenses that week? No. Because
not going to buy a new car.
Right. That's what normal people do, but not governments, right? Governments go, I think this is a really good time to let's spend some more money.
Yep.
Right. So again, I'm grateful for what we have. I am a huge proponent of education. Why? And I'll give you an example. There was a comment on the tax video that I made, ladies, and it was like, why should I have to pay for schools? Now I understand the logic of the question, right? Why I don't have kids. Why should I have to pay for schools? Completely understand. But also, this is probably someone who's going to want infrastructure and things in the future. Right? Well, how do you get that if you're not investing in the future? Part of the investment in the future is the children, right? Yeah. If the kids aren't qualified to produce things, meaning that they're not paying into the tax system, guess what? You're in trouble, right? The things that you rely on today that you have will go away in the future because no one is producing anything. Now, I know we're in a consumer economy, but at some point, someone has to pay the bill.
Yeah.
Right? 10 years ago, I'm sorry, when that's inaccurate. When Ross Perot was running for president, and I know some people are like, what is he talking about? Right? Taking myself back to junior high, Ross Perot was running for president. At that point, the government had a $4 trillion debt. That is $36 trillion today. That's not getting paid off, y'all. I mean, this is a whole nother conversation. I'm sorry for getting the weeds on this. When we talk about this, the logic of, well, I shouldn't have to pay for school because I don't have kids. I get it. Or seniors like, well, I don't have kids anymore. I understand. But without those kids earning income, your Social Security already doesn't exist.
Yeah. Social
Security is an unfunded liability that cannot be paid for. The only way that Ponzi scheme can be paid for is if the kids keep working and the government keeps taxing them. Right? So we have to have kids, right? You have to have kids, and y'all, they're not having enough kids. This is a whole other conversation. Forgive me, I went too far. But the reality is, we still listen. You have to invest in your future. I believe it's not even about the abolishment of taxes. I think that taxes are wrong. I've already given my state on this, but I also appreciate the things that I have. I appreciate that I have a public park. I appreciate that the beaches are public, okay, that they were renourished after the hurricanes. That came from my tax dollars. I understand this, right? Yeah. I'm just someone who also knows that these people run wild with other people's money. And if you got to swing back the other way so people can get slapped in the face and go, okay, we don't have an endless bank account and we need to be better stewards. And then we come back easing into it. I'm good with that. But what I'm not good with is raise my taxes every year, run wild. Yeah. Right? Every single county in this country has bloated their budget in the last 5 years. Most of them to the tune of 40 to 50% increases. That's not okay. Sorry for my tangent. Madison, where are we heading today?
We're going to be heading to Parish.
There you go. Sorry, y'all. I get heated about this. I love our country. I love the fact that we get to choose. All three of us chose to move to this state.
Yeah.
All three of us have invested in our families' futures in this state. And we can pack up and move anywhere else in this country too. That is a blessing, no matter how you feel about the clowns in Washington or in Tallahassee. Right? That's all right. And I'm so grateful for that. We don't have to agree on everything, but that is a awesome thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that, y'all.
No, not at all.
All right. Anyways, that's Lon's tangent of 9,000 today.
Before we do get over to Parish, so I think this is something neat to address. So not only is it Kevin's birthday, but it's actually Florida's birthday today.
It is Florida's birthday.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys, So on March 3rd of 1845, Florida became the 27th state of the United States of America. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool.
So it's 100 and how many? What March when?
It's 181 years old today.
Shout out to Florida.
Yep.
Still looking beautiful at 181 years old.
Yes. Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We're heading to Parish, you said?
Yes, we are going to head to Parish, and I have some exciting updates and news about the Sierra Lagoon community.
Oh yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. So not only have they opened up their welcome center, which I think is phenomenal. I stopped in there the other day, and it was like pretty much lights out, kind of like the Lakewood Ranch area, like welcome center. They have all the pamphlets, all the information on all the builders. They got the coffee station, the champagne station, like they got everything on the wall. It's like phenomenal there. So that's at the front of the community when you first walk in. But I was speaking with the lady that works at the Welcome Center for the community, and I got news that the lagoon is supposed to open 2026 Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
So when I heard that, I took that with a grain of salt, and I do want to let everyone know this.
well played.
Yes, because it was almost like way too good to be true. There's it looks like there's still nothing going on. Obviously, there's stuff going behind the scenes with permitting and all the things. But I had to ask her, I'm like, wait, did you mean 2026 or 2027? She was like, no, everyone keeps saying 2026. I'm like, okay, yeah. So take that with a grain of salt. But as of right now, their plan is to open up the lagoon Memorial Day weekend of this year.
But have they even started digging?
A little bit. It's barely.
Yeah, I was out there. They're digging. I had the drone up probably a month ago.
They're digging, but it just looks like that's all they've done. So
no, here's what I saw last time I was out there. All of the parking is poured. The The walkways were in. They were digging, and that was 2 months ago. We were out at Oakville Trail then, Madison. So that was almost 3 months ago, right? That they were in. So I bet they're closer than we think. But we'll get you guys an accurate update. It's been a minute, but we'll get out there. Vlad's out there. Vlad, let us know what's going on. Give us the insight. That's your backyard.
Yeah. Parish is the best. But for those of you who don't know what the lagoon is, it's a 4.5 acre crystal clear lagoon. Essentially, their goal is to bring the beach to your backyard. Stacy has one up in Wesley Chapel. They have another one in the South Shore Bay community in Waimama. So, I mean, they're pretty cool. They're pretty awesome. They got swim up bars. They typically have like some type of obstacle course, like in the lagoon. You're going to be able to paddleboard, kayak inside of there. And there's always going to be events and some type of action going on at the lagoons too. So I know all of my past clients that I've helped move into Sierra, they're like very excited.
Yeah, outstanding community out there, especially if you're like, if you're into that type of thing, it's awesome. One of the really unique things about Sierra specifically, we talk about this a lot with Parish's proximity to the beaches makes it very unique.
Yeah.
Right. Outside of a community like Seaflower, of course, right? But like there aren't any lagoon communities currently that are as close to the actual beach. More importantly, big epicenters that Parish is. And again, you're like, well, why do I need to go? You don't, but it's nice to have the option, right? Like some people don't want to have to pack up and go to the beach. Some people don't want to deal with wildlife. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Gulf belongs to other things, and it's not humans. Right? It is not uncommon to see a shark, right? Like it's not common for like large, big problems, but like, listen, there's jellyfish and rays, and like that's not for everybody. I get it. I think you're all a bunch of weirdos that are afraid of the Gulf, but I get it, right? I totally get it. There are people who look at me and they're like, why won't you go swim in a lake in Florida? No, there's gators in there. I'm all set up.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, yeah, but there's sharks in the Gulf. I totally get it. But in my mind, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know how I rationalize that, but I know it's true. So like, I get it. So some people want the cozy, comfy confines of being able to see all 6 feet of that water underneath them. And if that's you, the lagoon communities are right up your alley.
Yeah. And something to note too about Sierra specifically is that it's essentially like the first community coming into Parish. So a lot of clients that we serve that work in Pinellas County or St. Pete or wherever it may be, they typically lean more towards that community just because it has easy access to Moccasin Mall Road. It's like right there, and then it leads you straight to the highway. So,
absolutely, it's a good one. Love that. What else?
Well, speaking within the community outside of the lagoon, there's a couple of new builders coming to inside the community. So Perry Homes, Pulte, and MI. There's no pricing sheets yet available, but that's on the horizon too. So essentially moving into like the whole next phase of that community. So
Madison will keep you up to date, y'all. And Stacy will too. They're both down there all the time. It's ridiculous.
Yes. I should honestly probably just live there at this point because I am always there, which is great. Yeah. I love it.
Stacy is too. I'm like, where are you? I'm down in Parish. I'm like, what are you doing over there? Right? He's like, the client's lovely.
I know. I think next week I'm like in Sarasota, like 3 days. I'm like, I might as well just get a hotel or buy a condo down there.
Yep.
Yep. Well, hey, what that says is, first of all, y'all don't know where you want to live, and that's okay, right? The discovery process is part of it. And there's lots of beautiful places to choose in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys. There's so many different lifestyles that you can have here. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's awesome. Okay. Well, moving next, we are going to be talking about the Tampa International Award that airport just received again. So they just received the #1 ranking benchmarking airport service quality award. And I believe this is the 3rd year in a row too for departing airports.
Love it.
Which I think is phenomenal. Yeah. I will personally say, like, when my husband and I first flew out of Tampa, it was a bit confusing because we didn't understand the system. But when we got the system down, I'm like, oh, this is lights out. It was like a game changer. I'm like, why isn't every other airport in the country doing this?
Yep. Madison, I thought you were going to talk about this. This is a way better story than us being number one, the best airport to leave from. Our airport is incredible, y'all. So I just want to take note of that. Tampa's International Airport is the best airport to fly out of. Facts. Yep. Now, I thought you were going to talk about this because this is a reality. And y'all, if you don't know, Phoebe, which let's show Phoebe. If you don't know Phoebe, Phoebe is our flamingo who lives inside of Tampa International Airport, and she happens to be the gatekeeper of all things Tampa Bay, right, ladies?
Yep.
And she has banned. Yep. And Phoebe has banned Crocs from Tampa International Airport. So if you didn't know that, Phoebe will bite them right off your feet. So just make sure you know that. But also, she's had enough.
No more pajamas.
Yeah, and Phoebe's also banning pajamas. Yeah. And this and I love this. I love the fact TPA's social media team is so unhinged, y'all. This became national news this week. Like, this is all over. And people, I love it. Look at Hey Dudes chimed in on the page here. It says, "You're not going to ban us, right?" Dulles International Airport says, "Who hurt you?" The comments, I think, are the best part of these types of things, right? But like, these are the best USA facts. We'll leave the pajamas at home when we reach 100% on-time arrival. The Bureau of Transportation. I love this, y'all. If you're not following TPA, do it. It's Fly TPA is the page, but I'm telling you, man, their social media team is, you will get a laugh at least once a week. You'll have a good belly laugh.
Yeah,
they are the best.
It's pretty savage, but in the best way. Yeah,
I love it. They are. They've had enough. Pajamas are no longer welcome at TPA. So in case you needed to know, I love that. All right, Mass, we're running deep on time. We've got one more. Time for one more. Where are we going?
Well, I could talk about Costera very just briefly, and then maybe go into some more details next week. But
okay.
It's a newer community. It's in Palmetto, but it's like you could reach your arm out, not literally, but like reach your arm out, point a finger, and like Parish is right there. It's on Buckeye Road, essentially, when you go over that bridge. And it's super, super close to Parish. So I would technically say it's Parish, but even though it's Palmetto. But it's a newer community. They have 5 builders within there. Taylor Morrison, David Weekley is coming, Meritage Homes, Cardell, MI, and it's going to be another great community that has a lot of really great amenities. So I just got some clients under contract in there with Taylor Morrison, and I have some clients coming in this week that want to look at that community. But they're going to have like 4 resort style pools, a dog park, and it's kind of like the Seaflower. They're going to have like a huge lake inside the community with like a pier going on that people are going to be able to fish out of, which is super cool, and kayak, running trails, biking trails, all the things.
So this is essentially, just for proximity, so everybody can kind of get their head wrapped around this. This is basically between Apollo Beach and Parish-ish, right? It's closer to Parish, but it's in that window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like super, super close to like that right turn you take essentially to go to Oakfield Trails.
Yep.
And that bridge that you go over, it's like right across the bridge. So yeah.
Awesome.
But just another great community for buyers to consider. Again, really great amenities. We can maybe get into like the nitty gritty details next week, but just another option to consider.
Yeah, we can dig deeper, y'all. And again, I wanted to share some of these numbers because, again, we're seeing great opportunities, right? We talk about these communities weekly. You ladies will usually bring on some awesome community, and outside of the hottest of the hot, like, again, Seaflower, an example, where their prices are going up weekly.
Yeah.
Right? Because, that's demand, right? Every economy in this country is based upon supply and demand, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's a hot community, all the numbers that I just gave you of, 30% discount, all that crap goes out the window, y'all. You have to think of what you're trying to accomplish. And, for those specific home buyers or people who want to live there, it's their dream. Like, I'm always very intrigued as to why people try to manage other people's money all the time.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, right? It goes back to the government. Like, if someone wants something and they can afford to have it, God bless them, right? If they work towards that, that's their whole thing. You think they're crazy? Guess who doesn't care, right? We have home sellers that do that all the time. Like, we had a neighbor, I think I shared this with you. Neighbor down the street from us listed their home. Like, when I saw the price, I was like, first of all, if they get that, how will you praise Jesus? Also terrifying, because taxes are going to skyrocket for everybody if that's the case. But like, they're so far out of left field. Why? Because they can. They didn't have to move. They took the house down a month later. No, everyone knew the house wasn't going to sell. They were asking $300,000 more than that house was worth. Right? Why? Because they can. They didn't have to sell it. For the people that have to sell, it's a different conversation. But for the buyers who want it and they can afford it, God bless you guys, right? Like, if you want to live on Sarasota Bay, go do it.
Yeah. Right?
Don't let anybody stop you from it. If you want the best deal in town, I guess keep waiting. Because there's ridiculous opportunity right now. So hopefully, we shared some things that helped you in terms of that. If y'all have questions, our contact information is on the screen. These ladies are amazing. First of all, I want to shout both of them out. They both had incredible starts to the year, and that's because of you. The amount of people who have reached out to us, we had over 60 conversations so far this year. That's one a day, right? Getting through the first 2 months of this year. And we've got more and more families coming in who are still interested in relocating to the area. We have home sellers in the area who are reaching out to us now. Thank you for trusting in us. We love what we do. We want to do the best for you and your situation. Not every situation is going to be perfect. Not every situation is going to be right. But for those of you who are looking for that, these ladies know the game. I've already shared with you. If I was building a house, and it's going to be in Wesley Chapel, I'm calling Stacy. I'm not even writing my own contracts, y'all. That's not going to happen because she's done it way more than I have. All right. Same thing for Madison. She's down in Parish all day. She's in Sarasota. Like, obviously, she lives in St. Petersburg. That's her backyard. Right. We got Ashley up in Western Pasco. And like, we brought on another agent who lives down in Sarasota. Like, we're continuing to grow. And it's because of you. We served 100 families last year. And 80 came from YouTube, which is wild.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you for trusting in us. And we look forward to making that dream a reality for you, because here's what we love. 99% of our clients get to, meaning that this is not something they have to do. A lot of them are taking jobs, but they're like, we've been trying to get to Florida. Here's our opportunity.
Yeah.
They're just like us. They're lifestyle chasers. They recognize there's risk. This isn't a perfect situation, meaning that like, yeah, it would be great if this is Hawaii and we didn't have to worry about hurricanes, but it's not the case. Right? This is the closest thing we have in continental U.S. So that's why people love it here. The cost of living is still very affordable. Tampa Bay is on sale, y'all. And our economy is strong. It's not going to be like that forever. Pay attention. All right.
Yeah.
With that, ladies, any final words before we sign off?
Nope. It's been a pleasure. Tune in next week for more exciting news.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. And as always, until next time,
go out and live that Tampa life.
We're so bad at this. We love it.
We love it.
It's so much fun. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Take care. God bless.
Right.